Globalize Yourself Stereo. We out at KONJO #1 and we have Zara Julius. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Very well, thank you. Firstly, your choice of space, what inspired that? Like, it's a very interesting outdoor parking lot vibe. What was the inspiration, or what was like the kind of vision behind choosing this kind of a space to present music?
Yeah, so, I mean, it's just quite legit, like basic logistics more than anything else.
Sure,
I mean, like
sure.
outdoors dope, in terms of sound. There was another venue I was looking at, but the acoustics would have been really difficult to deal with. So,
Sure.
we just found a venue that was in between town and the southern suburbs, so that people from both spaces would feel incentivized, I guess, to come through.
Yeah.
We know how Cape Town operates. Like, if it's in town, only town people pull through.
Sure.
From the suburbs, only suburbs people pull through. So we try to kind of find a place in between the two to bring our peeps, like, to one place, you know?
So is Woodstock the natural place now in terms of like setting up these kind of events or these kind of activations going forward? Is this like the natural middle ground now for all the different like energies that are flowing through the city that want to interact with culture?
I mean, I don't think it is. I think also Woodstock is like an extremely complicated space.
Yes.
It's an extremely gentrified space.
Yes.
People are being evicted out of their homes systematically.
The rates are going up.
People are being relocated to Blikkiesdorp. You know, like, it's a really complicated conversation happening in Woodstock, right?
Sure.
And so for me, the question was more like, what does it mean to bring this type of music, this type of audience with our specific like ethos to the space, right?
Sure.
It's basically under threat from gentrification. So what does it mean to have a Pan-African kind of event in a context where they try to push everything that's Pan-African out?
So it's a countercultural kind of message, you know, within the overall discourse that's taking place within the Woodstock area, I guess.
I mean, I think as soon as you say something that you're trying to be counterculture, you kind of
Not literally, but I
Yeah.
mean like just as in a spiritual or just like an intent perspective. Because I mean,
basically it's just about trying to put a little bit of pushback or just take up space. Actually, occupy space that we are often told that we're not allowed to occupy.
Cool.
Yeah.
And from your own specific disciplines, like what form of output or how do you project your ideas? So, because you've done the event space, but I hear you also DJ?
Yeah.
Cool. So what other spaces do you also involve yourself in terms of expression?
Yeah, so I am a vinyl collector.
Great.
And then I'm also a photographer, filmmaker, multidisciplinary artist. I'm also a social researcher.
Great.
I lecture quite often as well at university spaces.
Cool.
And there's always like a common thread, you know, about trying to create connections and conversations in a Pan-African way, and also amongst the Global South specifically. So if I lecture, often I'm speaking about the African diaspora in the Global South, so like the Caribbean, looking at Puerto Rico, looking at Cuba, looking at music in those spaces, but also, you know, like social politics in those spaces as well.
Sure.
Right? So whether it's race or sexuality or gender or whatever.
So from your travels, I mean, like the journey or the situation of like black people, I suppose, is a very broad description. Does it differ from the places you're going to in terms of like the day-to-day struggles and how they're actually interacting with like the infrastructure and the settings of the infrastructure?
I think like obviously like the nuance will always be different because different places were colonized in very different ways.
Right? Different flavors.
Exactly, different flavors of oppression.
Imagine that.
Pick your choice. You know, like so, like in kind of like previously, countries that were previously colonized by the French, it's like a completely different experience. I think as someone of color than somewhere that was colonized by the English, as an example, because obviously the French had this thing of acculturation as well. So a lot of, you know, like POC people on the African continent in like previous like French territories or whatever were brainwashed in a very specific kind of way.
Okay, cool.
You know,
it's a particular brand of brainwashing.
Yeah, I mean we've also been brainwashed. Like,
of course.
Quite successfully.
I mean, look at how we're communicating now. That's like a clear sign. But
no, for sure.
Yeah, like that's another story for another day.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
But yeah, look, thank you so much, like, for putting these kinds of things together and also pulling different kinds of peeps, even guys like us, to come through and kind of snoop around and check the vibe. Thank you so much.
Hi, this is Zara Julius, and you're listening to Globalize Yourself Stereo.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Globalize Yourself Stereo. We're out here in Woodstock. I've got two gentlemen that are performing at KONJO #1, the gig. Do you guys want to introduce yourselves to the GYS Massives? I'll start with you, sir.
So I'm Shabaka Hutchings. I play the saxophone, and I'm playing with the brother who's on today as a special guest.
Sure.
On guitar.
All of it. So, you guys, it's not the first time coming to Cape Town. What are your feelings about coming to this particular kind of a party? Because it's got its own flavor and it's got its own kind of thing. So, what are your feelings on these kinds of events kind of popping up now all of a sudden?
I love it when we open the space for people to express themselves and to be one of those who are lucky enough to participate. You know what I mean?
Sure.
To share whatever message that's in my heart today is it's actually quite an honor to be able to do that.
Sure. And also coming from the collaborative space, you guys work quite a lot together. Was it like a planned thing? Was it kind of some kind of organic?
At the beginning, no. Do you remember when we met?
Yeah, I think normally when the energy is right, the collaborations just happen. You know, so if you're playing with guys, you can see that the synergy is there.
Sure.
And actually what you're developing is greater than any individual member. Then the opportunities find themselves. You know, you don't have to push for it. It just, it happens.
Fresh. Do you guys have any plans? I mean, you've been working a lot together of actually putting something down in terms of a studio album or concept album or something, you know what I mean, in terms of that.
Right now we're thinking as far as tonight's set. Yeah, that's where we are right now in our future plans. What do you think, Shabaka?
I think anything is possible, you know.
Yeah.
The more we keep growing, the more likely it is for a collaboration album to happen. I don't think we should force it.
Yeah, for sure. You guys are enjoying the space you're currently in already.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Then also speaking then in terms of your individual projects, since you guys have got separate bands going, how many albums do you currently have out? What are the, the year span in terms of your release span between the albums and the projects that you've worked on?
For me, I've got 3 projects at the moment. Sons of Kemet, The Comet is Coming, and Shabaka and the Ancestors.
Sure.
Sons of Kemet's got a couple of albums.
Sure.
Same with The Comet.
Sure.
Ancestors has 1.
Sure.
And it's just a continuation kind of creative process.
Yeah, and so the 3 projects that you're working on sonically, where are the overlaps, but then where's also the separation in terms of conceptual separation and sonic separation?
It's just about dealing with individuals.
Sure.
It's about seeing what happens when you combine the energies of certain individuals together. So for me, it's not a genre thing.
Sure.
It's just the continuation is myself from my particular journey.
Sure.
And the nuances and the differences happen when you get different individuals with different narratives and different stories actually contributing equally. So it's not myself, with the collaboration with the brother who's on, it's not me trying to I'm trying to impose anything on them.
Sure.
It's me saying what happens when I listen to their story.
Sure.
And they inspire me, and hopefully I inspire them, and it becomes something greater than what any of us could actually think of individually.
Nina, how many albums do you have out currently?
We have 1 album and 5 EPs.
Sure.
We're currently conceptualizing our new album, but that's still in the pipeline, you know?
Sure.
Yeah.
You guys working independently, working through a label? How are you structuring your
We're always
output?
independent, man. But with that said, we are open to whatever might happen from this one. But we'd rather own our music. So when it comes to recording, we're very strict on making sure that we fund it ourselves.
Sure.
And we choose our studio, and we bring in our own producer rather than letting someone else dictate who that should be, you know?
Sure. And what are your guys' thoughts as well on the digital music space, there's a lot of duplication, dilution, distribution, music has become almost like air now. So how do you express yourself in that kind of a space now?
You know what the thing is about music, right? The whole thing is that it's dictated by certain theory, you know?
Sure.
That theory, if applied properly, no matter what instrument you use or no matter what process you use,
sure.
as long as it's organized, because when it's organized, then it's music, you know?
Sure.
There's no problem with sampling as long as you do it well. I mean, Pete Rock, you know what I mean?
Sure.
Dilla, Kanye West.
They reimagined it as
Tembu, you know?
Sure. No, killer. And what are your thoughts in terms of that? This whole digitization,
I think there's lots of things out there at the moment that have the potential to take us away from what the kind of root thing is, which is we're out here to make music.
Sure.
You know, so I start from a point of that. Everything that's happening on the internet or sampling, the developments that happen to do with technology, that is a thing in itself, and we can look at that.
Sure.
We can say what are the benefits and what the musicians have to do to adapt.
Sure.
But actually, from an artist's perspective, what is important is what you're doing. Does what you're doing have integrity? Is
Sure.
it actually portraying something that's inside of you? Or are you trying to just simulate the technology that's being produced?
Sure.
And for me, there's this fine line between appreciating and working with technology
Sure.
and actually using technology to portray an artistic vision. And we need to always think about the vision before the tools.
Fresh. Speaking of those two, yeah, bro, damn.
He sounds like me on a Thursday.
Do you guys dabble with computers and samplers and
Yeah,
software?
definitely.
Or is it purely analog?
I love Reason, man. That's that's my program. Actually, I have a few songs that I do digitally because I have another project called Alice in Wonderland.
Sure.
The point is to like kind of find a space where digital meets live, but not trying to make the digital sound like live instruments. Because to touch on what Shabaka said, some cats are producing with technology, but they're trying to make the sound of a live drum kit. Whereas you don't need to do that. You know, just think of it as a percussion and think of the intention behind what you're doing, and it doesn't matter what instrument you use.
Sure. Do you dabble with digital?
Little bits, but just for myself. Professionally, I like to work with people that dabble with digital.
Sure.
So I concentrate my energy on the stuff that I know that, you know, is kind of me. But I also want to include myself within the realms of people who, you know, the electronic world is them.
Sure.
And I'll learn the sound of it. And, you know, I've got, you know, a Mac and I've got like Ableton and I think, you know, fool around with it.
Sure.
But I just want to know what the scope is, and then introduce myself to people who are serious with that.
Sure. So you guys are obviously open, or are you open to things like remix projects or whatever? What are your thoughts on those? Like in terms of how do you work a balance?
If it's hot, it's hot. If it's not, it ain't. That's it.
All right, cool. Well, guys, thanks so much, and all the best at your performance at today's KONJO concert.
Hi, this is Shabaka Hutchings, and you're listening to Globalize Yourself Stereo.
Hi, this is William Tembu, and you're listening to Globalize Yourself Stereos.
Sure. Globalize Yourself Stereo. We have two members from the Blackjacks with us. Ofetu Ninjan.
Asaphila kunjani bhuti?
I know it's grand. Mulefe no tabs, ane?
Sure.
Okay, sure. Welcome to Cape Town, Chance.
Yeah.
How are you finding the colony? How's it treating you so far?
We haven't been here in a little while, so yeah, I understand. Apparently we brought the sunshine.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's but today we are mentioned.
Sure.
But yeah, we are happy to be back here in Cape Town. And, thanks to the guys who organized the festival, the concert today. KONJO.
Well, shout out to KONJO.
Yeah.
So, Chance, Linda by punk rock, whatever, you know, it's usually like a Ramones, Sex Pistols, you know, that kind of a vibe. Like, what inspired me as like South African guys to actually go this lane? What were you guys listening to growing up? What records did you buy? You know what I mean? Like, Chance.
Hey, yeah, when I'm funding. Hey, yeah, Lentole is very interesting because ifana nengubo egumbathayo,
sure,
like that is sent from specially handmade for you, from the heavens, and then on you from childhood. Me personally, I grew up listening to a lot of like music. I never know what to actually pinpoint.
Sure.
Because there's a serious like range and landscape of music that I traveled.
Sure.
From my childhood, from the family vibes, growing up. Because Ekaya, they used to make me, when there's family gatherings and like stuff, like Aboma Christmas, and when the family is together, they used to make me spin Sure. You know, I didn't know that I was a DJ then. It was called a DJ, being a DJ.
Sure.
But I changed record after record, and I used to just, go from one radio station to another at night when everybody's sleeping, just looking for a song, skipping all the nonsense.
Sure.
So it's all that. But yeah, more inspired by African music,
Sure.
I mean, abantu bala ekhaya. Babu Philip
Tabani, Miriam Makeba, the list goes on and on.
The Dark City Sisters.
Sure.
Everybody and the Soul Brothers, everybody and they're all that reggae. Everybody. Black Mambas.
So rest in peace. Yeah. And then in terms of it training here, like, are you guys self-taught? Let's get anything like.
Yeah. I mean, as a musician, I studied music.
Sure.
Like from different backgrounds.
Sure.
Teaching me, in the back room.
Sure.
And then I started serious as a career. I went to school. I studied at the Music Academy of Gauteng and Babu Jody Mekwa.
Sure.
His soul rest in peace.
Sure.
And then so music as Lala Suzo. So music has been evolving since 80s,
Sure.
Like Nabo Miles Davis, they ended up doing punk rock.
Yeah,
you understand?
sure.
We've been listening to albums as in Jalo. It was easy for me to like step in.
Sure.
Joining Amachans because of I've been listening to his sounds as in Jalo or Victor Huten, people who like playing jazz on today's eye.
Sure.
Yeah.
Another thing, Uti, something called rock. Like South Africa, it used to be the white boy, white girls music, right?
Sure.
But there's the very same guys that he just mentioned, Baningi, Nabo Richard Bona, Nabo Banbani. Rock, you can hear rock Kumaskandi.
Sure.
Rock Kumaskandi. There's rock there.
Sure.
Ali Fakature, Novio Fakature, when they I can actually hear rock.
Sure.
Umama Tosini Magadala, Umakoyani, Umhube. I can hear rock sounds straight up. So that's why we say what we do. It's Afro rock, Afro rock.
Sure.
For the
because of it's cutting Samanje. What we do, it's different from the white men and
of course.
Sure. Tina sends the rock on our time signatures.
Sure.
Whereas all this rock was on 4/4, like bass and snare.
Sure.
So Tina we playing it on 6/8, 7/8. Yabo Sibuisekaya. Yabo, so yeah.
Nah, it's mega inspirational, gents, and it's like so fresh to actually interact with the Majid that was actually taking another route completely in terms of sonic, expression and like just like the dedication. I mean, how long have you guys been together now, like as a band? Like, how long have you been operating?
Well, I think over 10 years. I think over almost 15 years now.
Sure.
Come to think about it. Because as time goes on, as we've been together for a long time, years don't matter anymore.
Sure.
So that's so much so that you forgot.
You
actually forget.
I mean, I just came in the picture like 3 years or 4 years back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
cool,
but ngingahlangana noNtango uThepang some years back ngidlala like jazz standards.
Sure.
So he actually invite ukuthi Dwana zwakala sizochecka something ukuthi singayenzani. Because maybe ngicangwe sound yakho or something. And then I didn't show up. 2 years later, get a call, Dwana, are you available? Can you come through? Slanganise something. Then.
Sure. How did you find the transition from Shitago jazz now to like wild, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not as easy as it seems, but because manje like progressions in music needs,
Sure.
And then there's a form your music, so lay change ile.
Sure.
Esikolweni bakufundisa 251s izinto ezijwayelekile, so you'll find ukuthi iyang ngamanye ama progressions, so you need to use your ear in most cases. and actually like the keys that they use.
Sure.
Yeah, it's fascinating as well.
And then with regards to like studio to live performance, do you guys take that energy like into like the recording situation, like, or do you rehearse a lot, like
Yeah,
these guys are always late. This guy is always smoking. They lying. Everything they say.
Welcome to GYS, brother.
Thank you.
Yeah,
no, I think especially we rehearse more, you know, like, and rehearsal makes the music sound more better. So as a musician, I think the more we rehearse, the more sijela song, and the more the music becomes more richer. Yes, we used to rehearse a lot. Yeah.
And the more we rehearse, the more we rehearse, the more we tapped into each other's spaces easily. We can easily connect. So much so that sometimes some of the songs, when we sound check or when it's easily to, if I'm like, oh, there's a groove, or it's easy for us to like, let's see where the brother is at. You know,
come up
trust
with
each other
something.
for solos and stuff like that. You can feel each other out.
It's a beautiful experience for us. Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, gents, all the best for tonight's performance. We'll be out right at the front.
My name is Mulifi Makananise. I'm the bass player from the Blackjacks. You're listening to Globalize Yourself. Stereo, indeed, you should.
All loves.
Lebitso la ka ke Tebogo Site from Soweto. I'm a trumpet player for the Blackjacks. You're listening to Globalize Yourself Stereo.
Hola.